Hello everybody, my name's Stephen and welcome to my YouTube channel, Light Reading Reviews. Today I'm going to be discussing light novels, why I enjoy them and why I think you should give them a go. Now, what is a light novel? A light novel is a book that contains about 50,000 words, so about the minimum kind of length you'd get for a novel. So it's around the same kind of size as a novella. Now, light novels are primarily published by Japan, but you do get some in Korea and other kind of countries, and there is also a growing community of light novel writers actually in the English world nowadays. I know there's a few in England and there's a few in the USA from what I know, but I haven't taken too much time to look into those as of yet, but I might do a review on those in the future. Now, what else is a light novel? If you used to ask any of my friends, they'd say there was picture books, comics, and I constantly get teased by a lot of people I know because of that. But they're not. They're a lot more. They are complex books with engaging storylines if you'll give them the chance. But people have a misconception of them, calling them picture books or comics, because they see the odd page with pictures in it. So of course it's got to be for children, or they'll see me reading a manga and again think it's some sort of comic or something along those lines. So it's anything but the case. So what kind of stories or genres do you get in light novels? You'd be surprised to know you get a lot of the similar kind of ones we'd have over here. So we get things like the action, adventure, comedy, drama, fantasy, the sci-fi, there's thriller, the supernatural, there's all those kind of usual ones that we're so used to and we enjoy. But with it being a predominantly Japanese market, we also get some subgenres as well, which you might not have heard of. And I'm going to talk about those on this video today and go over why I enjoy them and the books I've got in my collection that actually go along those kind of lines. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and the largest part of my collection, is the isekai. An isekai is about a story of somebody who's been transported from our world into another one, whether it's a gaming world, another dimension, in the past, or some other kind of sorry, I got completely lost for words then. Some other kind of world that we couldn't possibly imagine. So the theme tends to follow somebody who's been transported into another world and then them struggling to survive and become potentially the hero of this new world, or just some sort of anti-hero potentially in some cases. Now, the one I'm going to discuss today is Overlord. This is actually my very first light novel, and I think it is an absolutely beautiful book. Now, I got into this one and light novels in general because I watched the anime Overlord, and when the anime ended, I thought to myself, that was such a rich and interesting world, I wonder what more there is out there. So I had a look and I found this series. Now, the series itself is about a overworked office worker who is very socially awkward. He mainly spends all of his time playing a particular computer game in virtual reality with all of his friends. And the game is coming to a close after 12 years of running. And through those 12 years, most of the friends he's made along the way have either left the game or have died, unfortunately. And he's the only one left in this guild. And just as the game is about to shut down, he stays in, and when the time runs out, he's transported to another world. And then we follow him in his gaming avatar in this new world as he tries to conquer it. Yes, we are following the evil person in this book. We're actually following what would be the bad guy to the rest of the world, because he's somebody who played a chaotic evil character. He played an actual undead overlord. It's very interesting looking at it from the villain's perspective, because you actually find yourself rooting for him more than you find rooting for the world, because his outlook is actually surprisingly normal. But you just don't realise how evil it is until you get to certain storylines, making a very compelling and interesting book. So next on the list, I was going to talk about the harems. So a harem tends to be where you've got one love interest, so one protagonist, either male or female, and then a lot of people interested in them and them having to decide who they want to be with. Now, I've recently picked up, is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? I haven't actually read through this book yet, but I have watched the anime. And that is one of the reasons I bought this, because I was a big fan of the anime again. There's actually 3 seasons of that one, and I've heard lots of good things about this book. Although I have attempted to read it once and wasn't quite sure about the writing style, but I was pretty tired when I picked it up, so I'm going to give it another shot. So that's really it for harems. It's very basic. It tends to be following somebody as they go about their day-to-day lives. In this one, he's actually an adventurer, and his love interests tend to be adventurers as well, and he's trying to, well, meet somebody of his dreams, while also going out on adventures and saving the world and saving the people that he comes across. Next to that one, we have the slice of life. So for this one, I've chosen the alchemist who survives now dreams of a quiet city life. This is following somebody, for example, that is an alchemist, and they survived a great catastrophe. So on this one, it's following their day-to-day life as they come back and reawaken in a world hundreds of years later to find everybody they knew and their entire life destroyed. And all they want to do is open up a alchemist shop and live a quiet city life. And that tends to be what slice of lives are about. It's the day-to-day general lives of the characters. So it could be somebody opening up a store. There's also one that I've got, or there's one that I've read before, where it's somebody who finds a small abandoned kitten on their parents' grave and takes it in. And they look after this kitten as it grows up, and you follow them as they look after this one, and they come out of their shell and they start to get over their depression and the misery of their life after they're losing their parents. So slice of lives tend to be about everyday kind of lives, and it can be based in any kind of period. So it can be based in fantasy worlds, it can be based in modern day kind of worlds. Last but not least, we've got the shonen. So the shonen tends to be a hero kind of book. So the shonen is where you've got a main protagonist or a group of heroes who are fighting the big bad villain. And it tends to be in worlds where they're not transported in as the hero, but they're people born into those worlds who have to rise up from the ground to become the hero that the world needs. So for this one, I chose Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer is another book that I've recently bought, but haven't read yet. The reason I got this one again is because I watched the anime. You'll notice a lot of similarities with some of the books I've got. I tended to find them via watching anime, loved them so much I wanted to know more about the stories, and then got them. So this one has actually got a lot of controversy behind it from the anime community, and I'll probably go into that in more detail when I actually read and review the book later down the line. But the basic premise is our hero suffered a great catastrophe where his entire village was killed by a marauding group of goblins, and he actually watched his sister being killed right in front of him while hiding in a closet, and it scarred him for life. So now all he wants to do is go out there and get revenge and kill the goblins and protect other people so it doesn't happen again. So we follow him on his journey as he is saving the people around him and the towns and other people within the world from this menace of goblins, because a lot of people overlook them as being nuisances and don't realise how serious a threat it is. So those are some of the other subgenres you can get in light novels, and some of the ones that I enjoy the most. On top of that, you do get some other ones as well, but I don't know too much about those because I haven't got any of the books on them as well. So things like mecha, I can do that from like an anime or TV series kind of perspective. So think Pacific Rim. You've got people who pilot giant robots and go out there to save the world, the galaxy, things like that. I'll probably look at some of those kind of stories later down the line and maybe do some reviews on those, since I haven't actually read those before, and I think it'd be a nice change of pace from my usual fantasy books. Anyway, that is light novels in a nutshell. So, are they what you expected? After hearing what I've gone over, does it tempt you to look into them or pick up any of the books that you see that I've shown here, or even look for ones that might interest you? If so, please leave a comment below, and if not, please let me know why. What can I say that would convince you to pick up a light novel and enjoy one, and maybe even read along with me to have a discussion with? Anyway, like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon.